Hello guys, welcome to the channel. I hope you are all doing well. Today I'm here to show you a time-lapse guide on how you can build yourself a Wookiee style treehouse just like you see on screen, inspired by of course the Wookiee houses in Star Wars. This did take me a while to figure out, especially with the foundations connecting to the trees and the circular shape. It did confuse me a bunch, especially trying to get it all connected to a tree as a stable foundation. If you do enjoy this video or it helps you out, maybe just inspires you, I would really appreciate even just a like on the video. If you want to subscribe, that would mean the world to me. If you're into this sort of thing, maybe join the Discord down below, link in the description. Over there we have a community with over 4,000 members, mostly for other games, but I would like to build something for Valheim as well. Join if you're interested, we can start something. Now just before we get into it, I want to thank my YouTube members. Your support means the absolute world to me. Keep rocking on, I really appreciate it. Now let's not waste any more time and get straight into the build. Now the secret to this build I'm showing you today is you want to build it in the Mistlands biome. If you haven't seen this biome before, it is one of the ones that does not currently have any content in it, but will be updated later in this year. It is the one filled with cobwebs. If you haven't explored this yet, I definitely recommend exploring your map a little further until you discover this biome. Why this is important is it has the largest trees in the entire game, way larger than the ones you'll find in the swamp biome. You can of course build this in the swamp biome if you want to use one of those trees, but if you want to replicate exactly what I'm doing on screen, I recommend finding the Mistlands biome. Now while I am in creative, you can of course do this in survival no problem. Gathering the resources might be a mission, but if that's a challenge you're looking for, then it's absolutely possible. What you want to do instead of flying up here is build a way up using platforms to jump between. When you get to the desired location on the tree trunk that you want to build, place down a ceiling and then a portal, and you will never have to go up and down ever again. Instead, you can just travel between your base and the new build location with ease. So you found the spot you like. Now you want to come in with two smaller log beams and you want to place them in a cross formation, making sure all four are connected to the tree. If all four aren't, then you will struggle later on with foundation support, so make sure all four light up blue. That means you've done it correctly. Then come in and place a log beam, a 4-meter long one, so double the size, on the end of each of these smaller beams, and then you're going to place a second log beam on the end of the longer ones. So it should be 2 log beams and a half on each side in a cross or X formation. The next step is to come back in with these smaller beams and place them in between on the diagonals, and then continue to place the 2 longer beams on the ends of each of these smaller ones. And you'll start to see as we add the ones in between, it'll make a circular shape. Now when you try and come in and place them in the smaller diagonals, it might not clip right. We're going to move on to the next step of placing the wood beams down, and you'll see that it will fix the issue after. Now the next step will resolve this issue when we place down wood beams on the ends of all of these logs. I'm going to show you what I mean on screen right now. We're going to place one on each end, pointing in each direction. But just before we get into that, I do want to say, quickly put down, if you're able, some stone floors underneath the 4 original half logs that we put down in that cross formation. What this will do is extend the support, which will make the entire structure easier to stay up, as of course these floors will connect to the tree, or they should at least. So if they are able to, definitely place down these 4. If you don't like the look of the stone, you can cover it up later, but what this also allows us to do is put down fires inside our treehouse later, so you can cook things inside your house that is way off the ground, which is awesome. Rotate a wood beam by 1 and place it down next to the one you've already placed. You can then quickly place down 2 log beams that will stick into this stone foundation, and then you won't need that initial half log in the middle like we tried to put in before. You're then going to repeat this process of putting 2 down at the ends on either side around the entire circle, and then you rotate it by 1, place it next to it, and then quickly attach 2 logs that should stick straight into the stone floor. You'll see me doing it on screen. I'll show it off once more, and I'll kick in the short time lapse.
This is the end of side 1 of this record. Please now turn it over for the second side.
Now for the next step in the build, we're going to start building the floor. You're going to grab your 2x2 wood floors and go around in a ring, attaching them to the outside foundations like you see me doing on screen. We're going to be building this layer by layer, slowly coming towards the middle. There isn't a real pattern to this, just place them down. They will of course overlap each other, but that is completely fine. Once you're about 3 layers in and you've come towards these stone foundations, you're going to grab these smaller ceilings and you're going to place them down in whatever fashion you like. They will overlap each other, but again, it doesn't look too bad, but you're going to have to decide as to whether or not you want to keep these stone foundations in the middle or overlap them with these ceilings. I like to keep them so I can have some campfires, bonfires, that sort of thing in the middle of my house. I think it's cool to have fire in these tree houses, and it allows you to cook food without having to go somewhere else. Feel free to slow down the video if you need to copy what I'm doing. Again, there is no real method, so I can't really talk you through this. It is kind of just placing bits down randomly, and if there are any gaps, just fill them in by placing another ceiling attached to the one next to it. Once you've filled it in, whether you've covered these stone foundations or not, it should look something like this. Now the next step is making the foundations for the pillars that will help support the walls and the roof of our house. Now each side of this shape is made from these 2 wooden beams. You're going to go to the middle of these 2 wooden beams and attach a wooden beam facing inwards. You're then going to build this straight across the shape and connect it on the other side. If you don't like the looks of these, you can remove these after. It's just there to help us line up our pillars so we can make the roof properly. This part is pretty self-explanatory and pretty easy. I'm going to speed it up and show you what it should look like when you are done. The next step in our build is to grab these 4-meter long log poles, and you're going to place them where you see me do it on screen, just at the end of these foundation supports that we added down in the last section. You're going to place them around in a circle surrounding the entire building. This will help us get started on the roof and the walls later on. We will then need to build the part in the middle that will hold up the rest of the roof. To get started on this, you want to find out where that log goes. To figure this out, you want to place a 2-meter long log beam facing inwards from the pole you just put up, and then on the end of that place a 4-meter long log beam, and you'll place down the inside log pillar from the end of that like you see me doing on screen. Now you want to keep the 2-meter and the 4-meter long log pole that connect between the 2 pillars, and you want to replicate that all the way around the building. You're then going to grab 2 26 degrees wood beams and have them from the end facing inwards like you see on screen. And when you finish going all the way around with the 26 degrees wood beams like you've seen me do on screen, you're going to grab the 45 degree wood beam and finish this section off by having it come down like this, leaving a triangular shape on top of these 2 pillars. Do that all the way around and then rotate it around 180 degrees and have it coming up from the top facing in the opposite direction. The next step is to add a 1-meter long wood beam coming off the ends facing inwards. It'll create a circular shape when you've done it all the way around. Then you're going to use the 1-meter wood beams to create a similar shape to what we did earlier in the build. You're going to add one on each side, creating a right angle with the wooden beam facing inwards. Now they should clip into the ones right next to them. If they do, you know you are doing it correctly. And once you've done it all correctly, it should create this circular shape with all of these little bits facing inwards. You're then going to grab a 2-meter long log pole and place them on the ends like you see me doing right here on the edge of these slanted bits. When you're done with that, it should look something like this. Now, you know, if you've done it correctly, nothing should be collapsing and it should all be fully supported. You're then going to grab the wood half walls and you're going to go around the entire building, adding these in between the pillars. You can have them face in or out. It depends which look you like better. If you have them facing the other way around, they will have that wood beam that usually shows on the inside, but you can leave that on the outside if you like the look. Personally, I think it looks cool in some builds, but again, that is up to you. Then you're going to go and do the same thing, but you're going to use a full wood wall and you're going to place it at the top of the pillars, leaving a gap in between. You're then going to place a wood half wall up the top. Now you want to place it in a way that it connects to this slanted beam on the side and not actually the pillar or the foundation below. So watch as I aim at the slanted pillar down below connecting up to this circular area, and it will arrange the wood wall just how I want it. I'm going to place one down like this, and then I'm going to go all the way around the circle, placing these wood half walls like this to create a circular shape. When you've added in all these touches, it should look something like this. Now we're going to come in and finish this roof. We're going to grab the 26 degrees thatch roof and you're going to place it so that it's in line with each of these sloped pillars. You're going to see I place the one on top, the one below, and then I rotate it once to attach it to the one directly opposite. Again, this is another very easy step. You're just going to repeat this entire process all the way around. So next we're going to complete the roof. You're going to grab the wooden beams, again the 26 degree ones, and you're going to place them up the very top facing inwards. Now you want to make sure that you do skip every second pillar. So every second pillar should be missing one of these slanted log beams. Now the next part is a bit tricky. You're going to want to pay attention. You're going to grab the thatch roof, the 26 degrees ones, and you're going to place them like I do on screen. You want to have them so that they face inwards, they kind of overlap just like that. You connect them to the corner of each beam. You're going to repeat that process all the way around. There will be a triangular gap in between each one on either side. That means you are doing it correctly. So place them like this so they kind of have these little overhangs sticking out. Make sure they are sticking out on the right angle as well. And once you've had the two put next to each other and they are clipping into each other, it'll just look like a bigger one-piece thatch roof instead of two. Now we're going to fill up these gaps by placing the thatch roof on the end of these sloped beams, as you can see me doing right here. So aim at the end of the beam like that, and it will let you place it down on the other angle, and it will fill in this gap, making it all come around in a circle, which looks very nice in my opinion. Now to have it come up, you're just going to go above and you're just going to connect it like I do on screen. This part is very easy. There's not really a method. Just have it connect. They'll all clip into each other, but they'll come up in a circular shape, almost to a point, and it'll look very nice. They'll all blend in, and even though they overlap, because they're all kind of a mesh, you don't really notice it, and it looks pretty coherent in my opinion. And there we have it. That part of the roof is done, and it leaves an opening at the top. So if you do have fire inside, the smoke can easily escape. Same with the light, and I think it looks rather nice. And now you'll notice you're left with these stone foundations in the middle, and it leads all the way up to the top as there is a hole. There are a couple things you can do about this. You can make it another level so that you can actually access it up there. So you can build a spiral staircase leading all the way up if that's something you're into. It is a little while up, so you will spend some time if you want to do the spiral staircase method, or you can just leave it free up there and you can put down some fires in the middle where you can cook your food. Both are optional and both are pretty cool ideas. You could build multiple tree houses and test each idea out. Depends if you're building it in survival or not and how many resources you have access to. Now I'm going to quickly decorate this entire building, and I'm probably going to build a bridge in between the two houses as well, just to make sure they're connected and that I only need one portal. And here is the end result. And there we have it, guys. That is absolutely all there is to this build. It is a very simple one. It is a little tricky maybe to get some of these resources or to get up to this location, but the entire build itself is very easy to understand, and once you've built it once, you won't actually have to watch a tutorial ever again because it will be ingrained in your mind. It's just a lot of circles and a lot of wood beams and pillars. I really do hope this was easy for you to understand, or you enjoyed this video at least. If you did, you can let me know by leaving a like on this video. If you want more creative or survival build guides or time lapses, be sure to subscribe, turn on that bell notification if you want to be notified when these types of releases come out. I do have a lot more videos in the works, and they should hopefully be out in the next couple weeks. Another thank you to my YouTube members, and thank you to everyone who made it this far. Join the Discord if you want to get interactive with the community, and I hope to see you in another video. Until then, take care out there, guys. Peace.